All right. Good morning, good evening. I am Mindmore, and this is another Entro Seed tutorial. Rocky was having a little bit of trouble understanding how how I was placing things and showing it. So I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna try and do the entire process right now. All right. So let's start away with here. So let's go. Usually I like to do mine at least two up. So we're gonna put one more right there. Oh, I gotta get rid of these pants. Sorry, or the boots or something, because it's making me, something's making me jump too high. I don't know which one is trying to make me jump too high, but something is. Let's just take it all off. Right, there we go. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, I'm still jumping high, but I'm not jumping that bad. All right, so what you want to do is make a T. First thing we're going to do, okay, we're going to make a T at the top. Okay, we're going to put routers. Don't worry about, unless you care about how they're faced, it really doesn't matter how they are. I just sort of do them however I get them done. Okay, and then put that one there. Right, and then we're going to have another one at the bottom. Okay, in the middle is going to be the Entro Seed. Okay, or the Fluix block that's going to go there. I'm trying to remember this all from memory, so I may have a few stutters or mistakes. Definitely going to be some mistakes, that's for sure. Let me just grab. I'm doing this my own custom world, so this is not one that we're working on. So I'm just going to grab two more of these. All right, so I have usually one here, and then a barrel there. That's going to be for that, and then we're going to have another barrel that's just going to sit over here. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to configure these. One of these, probably should have remembered. Okay. One of them is going to be right beside it, okay, and that is going to be the one that replaces and activates. Okay. I'm just hoping this is going to work. We're not going to have any issues. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is modules. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a breaker module first. I don't remember what this is. Just a stone. I hope it works. I didn't make any. You know what? Let's just redo those and make them the proper ones, because it may cause issues, because I don't know if you can do stone ones. Crafting. Just do this quickly. So this is how you're gonna make the crafting portion of it. So we're gonna get a bunch of blank modules. Actually, we don't need the crafting table. So 8, and then we're gonna get some diamond picks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is not normally how you do it, because you actually use your system to do it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go like this. Okay. And this is literally how you make the diamond breakers. It's otherwise the ones that you normally get will just be stone. Okay. All right. So we've got 8 of those. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that breaker module in here. So that's going to break anything that's in there, but we want to specify what we want it to look for. Okay. So you're going to press C. So it says down at the bottom there, it says press C or middle click. So you can do middle click or press C. You're going to do the direction. So whichever way that front is facing, you're going to go to the left, or you're going to go right, depending on where it is, or it's going to be the front. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to select a Certus block. So Certus block, right? So one of these Certus quartz blocks, you're just going to pop that right in there, okay? And then you're going to whitelist it. And what that's going to do is that's going to say only break if there's a Certus quartz block in there. And when the Entro Seed disappears, it turns into a Certus quartz block. You're going to want to break that so you can put a new one in. All right. So now that we've done that, we can go back. And if you hover over this after you've done this properly, you'll see that there's a whitelist for Certus quartz block, and its direction is left. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a puller. So we're going to put all right, we have to do this first. Select this. Puller is going to come from here. Okay, that's where we're going to configure later. And then we're going to want the senders. Okay, they're all going to go like that. Okay. Then you're going to add a sender module. Okay. That sender module is going to specifically look for the service block. Here. Okay. And you're going to whitelist it. And that's it. So when it breaks it, it's going to suck it in. When it gets that block, it's going to send it to that thing and then go back into your AE system or to a chest or wherever you've designated it goes. Normally, you would have all this hooked up to your AE system. Okay? So once you do that, we're going to get a puller module. Okay? One puller module, and what that's going to do is we're going to specify an Entro Seed. Or sorry, nope, not an Entro Seed. We're not doing that yet. We're doing the Fluix block first. Okay, Fluix block, whitelist. And we're going to put a regulator upgrade in here. And the regulator is just going to ask for 1. Okay, I believe that's what I had it set up as. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, we're going to get that done. And you hover over it, you're just going to see it's going to be Fluix block. And it's going to be pulling it from the location, which is the barrel in the overworld at that whole long coordinate set. Okay, which is this one right here. Okay. At that point, we're going to want to do a placer module. Okay, so that placer module there, we're going to hit C on it, or right click, or middle click. It's up to you. You're going to place to the left, okay, and you are going to place the Fluix block. Okay, and that's going to be whitelisted, and you don't need anything else there because it just wants to look for that one. It's going to place it, and then it's going to end. Okay, and then you hover over top of that. It says whitelist and the direction. Okay, easy enough. And then next, we're going to do the activator module. We're going to need another puller. Okay, so we're going to put that puller there, open it up, put an Entro Seed in there, whitelist it, and do a regulator upgrade. And go to 1. Okay, because you only want to pull 1. You don't want to pull as many that's in the barrel or anything like that. You just want to pull 1. Okay, after that, go back, hover over top of it, make sure everything looks good. It's going to pull it from the barrel, which is going to be, we'll get to that afterwards. And then we're going to put an activator module. Okay, we're going to hit C here or mouse middle click, either one you want. Your general thing is you don't need to configure anything else. You just want the action. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the Entro Seed in there. We're going to select left, and we're going to whitelist it. And what it's going to do, it's going to go there and it's going to right click it on there. And with a service block, so let's grab one. Or sorry, not that, a Fluix block. So if we put a Fluix block in here, okay, and then we grab an Entro Seed, we right click it, it turns into the proper thing. Okay, I'm just going to break that because I don't want that there right now. I want it to do it from the system. Okay, and then when that's done, it's going to stop and it's going to start again. And this one here, we need to configure this with not always continue. We want to terminate on no match. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so where were we? We got this finished? Yes, okay, we got that finished. It was offline because I was trying to remember how things went. So yeah, all we need to do is add the intro crystal into each one of these. Okay, so now that we've got all of these done, what we need to do is put in a Certus quartz to start it. Okay, it's just, I don't know why, but this is the way that modular router works. So pop that in there. It'll break it. It'll transfer that from your bin. This is normally going to be hooked up to your system, so it'll autofill it. And at that point, now you're producing, right? It's now going to produce the actual intro crystals. So you're going to want to get on top here. You're going to grab your growth accelerator. Okay, you're going to shift right click on there. And then that's going to start feeding that in there. You're going to add power to it. Since I don't have power where I am, I'm just going to use a creative cube right now. Put that on there. You're going to start seeing the crystals are going to start growing. Okay? And as soon as they reach a certain maturity, right, that's just a large one. But now that's there, see, and then it automatically put it in there. All right, isn't that sweet? We have all the stuff in here that it's broken, and as this disappears, it breaks and puts a new one there. All right, so now that that's done, all right, so I'm going to shut this off so that it just doesn't keep going crazy. All right, so here, what I did, I'm sure you guys can find, maybe someone has a better idea or a brighter idea or something like that. What I've done in the past is I put exporter. It's not going to work right now because we're not hooked up to any AE system. All right, so I'd put an exporter on this side, and we'd get another exporter on this side. Okay, in here, so in your exporters, you're going to configure one for Entro Seeds. Oops. So you're going to configure one for Entro Seeds. And what that's going to do is that's going to fill this up to 64. Okay. Okay, that's going to fill that buffer up to 64. Okay, you don't want all of them in here. Right? You don't want a whole bunch of them in here. Right? You just want to have one at a time. And this one on this side, we're going to do Fluix blocks. All right. So you're going to put Fluix blocks in your export bus. Make sure your system, you have one of the crafting systems that crafts them automatically. Otherwise, you're just not going to get anything in here. So I will take this, put this in the buffer. Okay, so that's like it's been pulled in by the system. Okay, and what we're going to need is we're going to need a sender module. Okay, so we're going to need 2 senders, and we're going to reconfigure those to go. We're going to clear it. So target cleared, and then we're going to do shift, and that's going to target there. Okay, and we're going to take that, and we're going to put that there, but we need to configure it with a regulator upgrade. Okay, and only put in 2. Okay, so there's always an extra one there. And so for each side, you're going to take Fluix block on this side. Okay, so it only puts 2 in there. So if I take this block of 64 out, it'll only replace it with 1. There you go. See, now you've only got 2 in there. Same on this side, but you're going to do the opposite. You're going to pop this in here. You're going to hit C. You're going to do Entro Seed, right there. You're going to whitelist. You're going to put the regulator upgrade in here, and then max is 2. Okay. Once that's configured, it's spewed a couple extra because I left it on for a little too long. But if I go in here and take out the 64 plus 4, only going to put 2 in there. So that just means that there's not going to be, a whole crap ton. It's not going to eat your entire system. It's only going to have what you need. Okay. And then when you've got that on there, it's just going to constantly go back and forth, and you're going to create a whole new one all the time. And in here, you're going to have an import bus. So it imports it into your system, or you could put a storage bus there if you want to just make this like a sophisticated storage and make it like a diamond or netherite. And then it'll hold everything in there just for you. All right, so I hope that helped. If it did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me. It helps the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.